Someone is stupid. They traded something real for temporary pleasure. Yes, sir. Let me say it louder. For my chosen ones in the back. Listen, family. Someone is stupid. They traded something real for temporary pleasure. Family, what that looks like is a person trading in their home for a temporary hotel. Okay, what that looks like, people, is a person trading in something that they've had for 30 plus years. It's been consistent, persistent, it persevered with them. They was loyal, right? And they know it, right? However, y'all, they traded that in for something that was 30 seconds of good time, 30 seconds of fun time. Okay, we see this so often in today's time, and the reason why, people, is because people are slaves to their own fleshly desires. Okay, somebody drop in the comments and say, don't be a slave. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say, don't be a slave. Family, when people are taking drugs, are overindulging into sex, overindulging into the wrong associations, it is because they are running away from something. Okay, they are running away from something, and that something makes them feel comfortable. It's only escapism. Okay, it's only escapism. But sticking to the point, y'all, they traded that particular thing that they had. It was authentic, it was real, it was for them, and they traded it for something that was temporary. Okay, and so that's what we're gonna speak about in this video, people. Understand something, y'all. They stupid, and I'm not calling them stupid as in they are, unintelligible. They can't have the capability of learning. That's not what I'm saying, y'all. But what I am saying is sometimes people make stupid decisions. All right, why throw away your dime for a penny? Why? Because the dime looked at dull and the penny looked at shiny. The value did not change. Okay, I don't care if you have a wrinkled up $100 bill and you got the crispiest $1 bill. The basis still remain, y'all. It's a $1 bill, which has a $1 value, which means you can only buy $1 things. But with that $100 bill, I'm not saying you can buy a whole house or a mansion, but you still get the value of $100 worth of things. And so with that being said, y'all, people have this thing misconstrued, right? They throw away things or people or situations that was actually for them, things that was actually authentic, things that actually had their best interest at heart. However, they traded that for the temporary feeling, the temporary pleasure, the temporary thing that gives them that moment. It makes them feel whole, temporary. And then after that, y'all, they go right back to where they was and they feel worse than before they did what they did. Okay, but family, as y'all can see, we are on the great couch. Y'all got the Lions behind me. Today, y'all, was pretty much a rainy day here in the ATL. I know a little later the sun kind of came out, but this is why we inside, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and get directly into it. But first, y'all, make sure y'all leave a thumbs up on this video as well as subscribe to the channel. Yes, sir. Not only that, y'all, but y'all be sure to ring my bell so you can be notified after every single video I post. Let's get into it, y'all. First thing first, number one, the devil wears a dress. Okay, let me say it louder for my chosen ones in the back. Listen, family, the devil wears a dress. Now, this right here is a dope book title, a dope poem, a dope movie title. So if y'all steal this, it's all good, y'all, but I want my cut. But sticking to the point, y'all, the devil wears a dress. You know, what does that mean? See, the reason why a lot of people are trading in that thing that was real for something that's temporary is because the devil dressed up that situation, that circumstance, that person, that job, that place or thing. That's why I say the devil wears a dress. I don't mean literally a dress, a red dress with studs on it, diamonds, right? Not just only that. This can go for the male or the female. The devil's job is to make everything that he creates or touches glitter, but really it is only gold wrapped in trash, right? Or trash wrapped in gold, however you want to put it. So the devil wears that dress. He makes something seem much more than what it is. He makes something seem as if you cannot live without it. He makes something seem so thrilling, chilling, okay? And you want to reveal what it is behind that dress, right? So I was just watching a movie, y'all, called Sugar Mama. It is on Tubi. Yes, y'all, I watched Tubi, and I was kind of binge watching some movies. And it was a movie that I ran across, and it was basically about this young guy who has a girlfriend, and pretty much he was trying to pay for college, and he didn't have no other way of paying for it. So his way was pretty much being a male prostitute. I know it sounds terrible, but y'all listen more in on the story. So he was a male prostitute, but he would go on this app. It's called Sugar Mama app or Sugar Baby app. And pretty much they'll take the younger males, and the older women would have money, and they would pretty much pay for, time, affection, sex, attention, like whatever it was, they would pay, they would pay the sugar babies. And so that was his job. And one of his arrangements ended, and he ended up running across this new lady, right? Now, the new lady was a bit strange. She was a bit peculiar. Why? Because whenever they hooked up, it wasn't your natural, hookup or the original hookup. She hooked up, and she was like, hey, I'm not looking for a companion. I'm looking for business and networking or whatever the case is. And he was like, cool, I'm with it. Now, you would think that that would be the case, but once they hooked up and she asked him to go back to her crib, she wanted him to sleep in some room that was, kind of like her son's room who had passed away. Y'all follow what I'm saying? She kind of wanted him to be her son, because her son got in an accident, and, he was in a coma, and they needed another person who had a heart and the same blood type. Once she found out that the guy who was on the Sugar Baby app had exactly what she needed, she reeled him in even more. Bought him cars, right? Bought him clothes, looked out for him. I mean, she just kind of invested into him. And so he's thinking that this is great. She showed red flags of being controlling and not being a great person overall. But the devil wears the dress. So she dressed it up. Ultimately, y'all can guess what happened. She ended up killing everybody that was around him, and ultimately killed him, took his heart, put it into her real son, right? And now her son is living. But the point of why I tell this story about the Sugar Mama, y'all must watch it, y'all. It's on Tubi. But the reason why I tell this story is because a lot of times people do things for us. People give us things. People support us. People help us. People say, hey, I like you. I love you, whatever the case is. But why are they saying these things? Why are they doing these things? Is it another Sugar Mama situation to where the devil wears the dress and he's just dressing up the situation? So whenever it's time for him to snap or to strike, you're open and you're vulnerable, just like this young man in this movie. The reason why I bring this movie up, y'all, is because this is the case with a lot of us. We don't understand when the devil is wearing the dress or when God has really sent us a blessing. Somebody drop in the comments and say, that ain't from God. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say that ain't from God. Major movie, y'all. Y'all got to check it out, right? Just came out 2025, and I thought it was crazy, okay? But moving on to the next one, number 2, it's going to be this right here, y'all. They are controlled by fleshly desires, okay? They are controlled by fleshly desires. Family, you are a strong person if you are on this earth and you are able to walk away from the weed. You are able to walk away from the alcohol. You are able to walk away from toxic friends and associations. Y'all, when you are around people who are toxic, you start finding yourself having toxic ways. Why? Because bad association spoil useful habits. I say it all the time, y'all, and I'm going to keep saying it, right? And that contributes to you, not being able to walk away or stand up to your fleshly desires, right? A lot of people are controlled by the blunt. They are controlled by the cup. Every time you see them, y'all, they got something to their lips. They got the cup in their hand. They still haven't let the porn go. Okay, and again, y'all, I'm not here acting as if I am perfect, because Lord knows I'm not, y'all. All right. However, family, it's a difference in between being imperfect and being controlled by your fleshly desires. If you can't say no to whatever that vice is, you're being controlled. Period. If you can't walk away from whatever that device, I'm sorry, y'all, that vice or that person is, or that toxic situation is, you're being controlled. Sometimes, y'all, we allow ourselves to be controlled. It's not about someone literally got a remote control and doing voodoo and controlling us, or they got some type of doll and controlling us. No, y'all. Sometimes we are allowing ourselves to be controlled by our own fleshly desires. Y'all ever seen the show 600 Pound Life? I'm not trying to be funny, y'all, but these are individuals who partook in eating food too much to where it has become gluttony. That's a sin too. They were controlled by their fleshly desires. Eat up, man. Eat this pizza. Eat this hamburger. Eat this taco. Eat this fajita. And they just ate and ate and ate till now they're over 600 pounds. And it's so crazy to where they had to make it into a show. They had to turn it into a show. Can y'all understand that? So what I'm simply saying is, y'all, is when you are controlled by your fleshly desires, what it does is it causes bad things to happen onto you, right? A great example of this, y'all, would be the movie. It's called The Bible. It's a movie called The Bible, and it has all of the scenes of the Bible, all of the stories within that movie, y'all, from Jesus, Adam and Eve, Joseph, Samson. I like it, y'all. Some people may say it's corny, but I like it. I like to see the Bible in visual form, right? But one thing I never forget, in the Jesus scene, Jesus knew what he was sent, to earth for. He knew that he was going to die for mankind, right? He already knew that, but he was still a human. And one thing that Jesus said was, the spirit is strong, but the flesh is weak, right? Let me say it once again, y'all. He said that the spirit is strong, but the flesh is weak. So although his spirit knew that, hey man, it's time to go ahead and give your life up, dog. You got to go ahead and do that. His flesh was like, who? Give up what life? When? Where? How? Nuh-uh. Flesh is very strong, and flesh is what causes fear. Flesh is what causes, pain. Flesh. You don't feel pain in heaven, right? You don't feel no pain there. When you are in human form, you feel pain, you feel sorrow, you feel hurt, right? And that's why in the scriptures, y'all, it says that we don't have the same understanding of God. We will never be able to understand God, but he can understand us, and that's why he speaks to us or through us within parables. Make sense of what I'm saying, y'all? But sticking to the point, y'all, going back to the Bible scene with Jesus, he knew what it was, but he couldn't he couldn't gather the strength to do it. Why? Because he knew what he had to do. Fleshly desires are very, very strong, right? And his desire to not want to give his soul or give his life for mankind shows, no matter if it's a divine purpose or whatever the case is, if you are human and you have fleshly desires, it's going to be difficult to walk away from them or even become the master to them, right? That's why I always commend anybody who can walk away from a person, a substance, a drug, whatever the case is, right? Somebody drop in the comments and say, walk away, all right? Number 3, y'all, it's going to be this right here, family. They realized what they had too late, though, right? They realized what they had too late. Some people realize, that they have a great woman too late. Some people realize that they have a great man too late. Some people realize that they have a good job or a great thing going on too late. Okay, somebody drop in the comments and say it's too late. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say it's too late, right? So there was a movie called The Honeymooners. This right here is very old, y'all. I'm sure it's probably about 2005, 2006. The main 2 characters is Cedric the Entertainer, Mike Epps, and I think even Gabrielle Union. Gabrielle Union is in this movie as well. But one point I got from this movie is that sometimes you don't realize what you have until it's too late. So Mike Epps and Cedric the Entertainer, they was getting into entrepreneurship, And you know, one thing that they was gonna get was that train. It was a train, but the train was worth so much money, and they didn't know the value of the train. So the guy who they were trying to outbid, you know, they end up getting the train, but this guy still wanted to buy it. So at the end of the movie, they end up selling him the train. They sold it to him for a substantial amount of money, but he bought it on the low end, and then he flipped it and sold it for millions. He flipped it and sold it for millions. They had possession of the train. In fact, they had outbidded him. They took it. I don't even think they paid for it. Y'all think somehow they took the train and then it was theirs, right? The time progressed. They was like, man, we gotta sell the train. They sold it to the guy, and the guy bought it for a low amount, and then he went back and flipped that train, y'all, and he made millions because he knew the value of the train. Sometimes, y'all, we don't know the value of the thing that we have, the value of that person, right? The value of that individual in your life who always had your back, the value of your job, the value of your career, right? The value of your kids, family at times, right? Like the value of whatever it is, y'all, but you know that it is indispensable. You won't be able to get another one of those. Sometimes we don't realize that value until it's too late, right? And it's very unfortunate because, you know, it's a lesson for you, but it becomes a blessing for someone else, right? It becomes a blessing for someone else because what you didn't do right, somebody else will, okay? What you didn't do right, somebody else will. And, you know, that goes for me, you, anybody. And that's just kind of how it goes, y'all. But sticking to the point, just like the movie, the movie, The Honeymooners, they didn't know the value of their train. They sold it, realized the value too late once they seen it in the newspaper that the guy was a multi-millionaire. Realized what they had too late, right? Next thing, y'all, number 4. They allowed themselves to be finessed by words, okay? They allowed themselves to be finessed by words. You know, family, people who don't have nothing are the biggest trash talkers. I'm going to say that once again, y'all, louder for my chosen ones in the back. People who don't have nothing are the biggest trash talkers. People who don't have a car always want to tell you how to get one. People who don't have a place to stay want to tell you how to find one. People who don't have a man, right, want to tell you how to sustain or keep one. People who don't have a woman want to tell you what to do to keep her happy. Like, these individuals don't have, and they're trying to show you how to get, and that is the recipe on how to lose, okay? So with that being said, you got to understand something. You can't allow people to finesse you by these words. At the end of the day, it's words. Even when it comes to YouTube, right? I'm sure y'all use y'all discernment when it comes to Reno, right? Some people like me, some people love me, some people hate me, some people can't stand me. To each his own. I still love you. But the point of what I'm saying is, y'all, is that you know the people who are genuine and you know the people who are not. Which means there are some individuals who are trying to finesse you by their words. There's going to be a lot of charismatic people who come around and make something sound good. A lot of charming people who can make something sound great. But are they really authentic and genuine and sincere? Or they're trying to take from you? People get finessed by the words, and that's why they trade in something that was real for something, you know, temporary. A temporary pleasure. They sold you on that particular moment. Y'all ever been walking at the fair and or walking inside the mall and they got this new profound popcorn? They got this new profound vacuum cleaner. This new shoe cleaner. The shoe cleaner is major, y'all. Got this new shoe cleaner. It does all these different things. And they sell you on this temporary feeling. And once you get the product ain't nothing like how it was when they sold it to you in the mall. You can't find them no more. They finessed you by words. Played on your emotions. Traded in something that was authentic, something that was real, for something that was temporary. Make sense to what I'm saying, y'all? Drop in the comments and let me know. Last thing, y'all, is going to be this right here. Number 5, temptation is enticing. Okay? Temptation is enticing. Have y'all ever been fasting? Whether that was fasting from social media, fasting from people, right? Fasting from food, obviously. Whatever fast you are on, don't it seem like whatever you are fasting from seems more enticing? For instance, I'm fasting, y'all, with my food. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to eat, for 24 hours. I was just trying to do a 1-day fast. I ain't going to fast for 24 hours. I'm sorry, I'm not going to eat for 24 hours. I'm going to fast. Cool, got you. 3 hours in, hey, you want to get some wings? I don't want wings. I want to fast. Another 3 hours later, man, I just had me them wings, man. Them wings were good. The temptation is, why are you cutting back on this? Whether your reason is spiritual, emotional, mental, listen, you want this. And it begins to seem more enticing, right? The things you can't have are the things that we want as human beings. That's why people who are married are the people who cheat the most, right? I'm not saying all, but people who are married are the ones who cheat the most because they are desired. People want them. It's a status. Listen, y'all. It is a status. It's like a trophy. If you sleep with a married person, why? Because you took a vow and an oath before God. Are you really ready for that pressure? Because temptation is enticing. The things you once could not do, if you are in that position to where you can do it, but you're not supposed to, it's going to take a strong person to not do it or fall for the trap. Because the things that we are forbidden to touch, the things that we are forbidden to learn, the things that we are forbidden to eat, we want all that because temptation is enticing. And that's why a lot of people trade in something real for something temporary. Okay? So don't fall for the trap, family. Somebody will drop in the comments and say, don't fall for the trap. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say, don't fall for the trap, all right? But, y'all, a smooth recap, and then we'll conclude this video. The devil wears a dress. That's number one, y'all, which means he dress up every situation, okay? Number two, they are controlled by fleshly desires, all right? Sometimes, y'all, people's flesh make the decision for them. Number three, they realize what they had too late, right? Number four, they allow themselves to be finessed by words. And number five, y'all, temptation is enticing. Point blank, period. Y'all already know how we do. Listen, y'all make sure y'all check out any one of my Yes Sir t-shirts. Get a Yes Sir hoodie. Book a one-on-one session with me. Okay, it is a limited time offer. Also, y'all be sure to check out any one of my books and enroll into my social influence course. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video. Y'all keep a rich mentality. Peace.